All right, so it looks like the recording has resumed. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Mr. Kalina, you do not have our financial report. It's on your laptop, so I'm going to look and utilize what we had, what we completed with the county. One moment. Nothing on the night. No, that's our reevaluation stuff.
Just make some stuff up. We had $2 million.
I wish.
Well, at the end of the year, we had more expenses than we typically had because of things like our annual
Sure.
We obviously had to have our Sunbiz stuff renewed. We had to have
Becoming legitimate.
right
Cost money.
So for the month of December, there were roughly $345 in expenses. Intake was about 202 or something like that. So there was this kind of a bit of a negative equity there for that month, but we had a lot of yearly expenses come up. So like our renewal for, and forgive me, I forget the name of it, for our posting was due. Blue something.
Bluehost.
Yes, Bluehost. So those are all things that came due in December. They were all applicable. So at year end, we still finished the year at like $2,500 in treasure. So
Up from last year.
and I'll send.
We had positive cash flow 10 of the 12 months since the last convention.
And that's with us also saving 90% on our processing over what we were paying while using PayPal. So when we switched from PayPal, we made a significant savings there. So that's more money that we had going into Treasure from the previous processor. And PayPal was going to up their rates of what, 3.89?
3.9.
3.9%. So that would have been a significant hit for us. So we were able to get that down to 0.20.
Questions for Mr. Kalina?
I was like this.
Hearing none, I'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the chairperson's report. The most important metric that I followed this year was our LPF registration. The February report that I got from the state had us at 2885. The December report that I was able to get from the state had us at 2943, which for the year, if obviously we didn't have January to January, but was about 2% increase in a non-election year in those who registered LPF, which was a 2% increase in membership based on how we define it. We hosted 15 non-business or leadership team meetings. A lot of those were our coffee talks. We had our annual birthday party for the party in December. We had our Sunset Socials and our Liberty Yoga. We participated in 2 outreach events this year, co-hosted with other affiliates. One of the most important things that I believe that was accomplished this year is working to provide proper registration with Sunbiz, the IRS, our bank, and the like. That was a very surprising discovery that Mr. Kalina and I came upon when we sought to change the payment processor. And almost all of that is complete, aside from the IRS recognizing us as a 527. We're still waiting, despite them accepting it in May.
I believe it was end of April.
End of April. They said it was a 6 to 9 month wait. We have not been approved yet, but we can still operate in that way. As Mr. Kalina mentioned, we did switch payment processors to save the party money on our donations. We created a procedure for directorships rather than a simple appointment by the chair so that they can be added to the leadership team. We met all of our deadlines with regard to filing with the County Supervisor of Elections. We successfully repetitioned with the LPF to remain an affiliate. We returned to in-person meetings with a remote option for all who cannot attend in person. And we reasonably notified members of all meetings successfully in accordance with our bylaws, which require 2 weeks notice. That is the entirety of my report. Are there any questions? Hearing none, Ms. Herrera, it's your turn.
Yes. Shout out.
Come on, shout my mind.
Okay, hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so Brett covered most of what the team had been working on all year, mostly, fixing paperwork with the IRS. I know I was kind of out of the loop for a little bit. I got deployed to go fight COVID for a few months, so I was out of the loop. And honestly, like I didn't meet all the goals I wanted to meet as VC this year. So we were able to work on some ideas for shirts. Hadn't gotten them finalized or got to the printer yet, but hopefully that's something that can continue on this year. And then hopefully we'll actually have some awesome county libertarian shirts. I got to hand out some literature and generated some interest in that. For example, the taxation is theft tip cards. Laura actually just ordered some more. I think I passed that out a couple months ago at one of our meetings, and then pretty much kind of getting the ideas spinning for like volunteer projects and like future social ideas, things like that. But like I said, with between like all the stuff with COVID and a lot of stuff the IRS didn't get to execute as much as I wanted to, but a lot of the ideas and kind of how to execute are at least set in stone now. Pending any questions, that's all I have for my report.
Any questions for Ms. Herrera? Hearing none, we're going to go ahead and turn it back to me. I know everybody's excited about that. All right. Mr. Stevens, anything you wish to share upon your tenure as secretary?
I'll make it brief. Brett covered most of it already. It's been really, really fun. Hoping and praying every month for some update from the IRS, and every single month my hearts and dreams get shattered. Minister in. Convention is coming along, and I will be there to support our next secretary with a very nice login, parliamentary procedure, and any note-taking help that might be needed. Woo! Questions?
Any questions for Mr. Stevens?
It was great when I was here, and I had nothing to do.
But he's a student in Palm Beach.
Palm Beach County. I fly at airport.
Where's the time for speeches?
Nomination.
Oh. Oh, no, I just wanted to say,
Any further questions for Mr. Stevens?
no. But thank you to the current leadership team for being awesome. You guys really kicked ass this year. Keep up the good work. Round of applause. Woo!
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So the next item on our agenda is the election of officers. The
Woo!
order that we will go in for those officers, we will start with the chairperson, then we will progress to the vice chairperson, then we will progress to the secretary, and then we will finalize with the treasurer. Keep in mind, the chairperson and the secretary will be serving one-year terms. The vice chairperson and the treasurer will be serving two-year terms. At this time, I would like to open nominations for chairperson. I have to decline.
Seconded.
I have to decline. There's a strong possibility that I will not finish 2022 in the county, and I would hate for you guys to have to choose another chair before next year's convention.
Motion to vote on if it's worth it to choose another chair at a later time.
That I'm going to rule that out of order. We're currently accepting nominations.
We're taking this to the
second.
Supreme Court.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm ruling it out of order because it is, the item on the agenda is election of officers, and we opened the floor for nominations. An active motion, we could, but we would have to close nominations and reopen them.
Okay, I move we close nominations. Seconded.
All right, move to close nominations for chairperson by Laura, vice chair, or seconded by Morgan Dean. So now would you like to appeal the ruling of the chair that it was out of order? So our secretary is appealing the ruling of the chair that the question asked by Ms. Dean was out of, or the motion proposed by Ms. Dean was out of order. So how it will proceed is the body will choose to either to vote yes to affirm the ruling of the chair that yes, it is out of order, or the body will vote no and say that the motion is in order.
Can I campaign?
To hear her motion. We can debate for 5 if that works. Would you like to start?
How long until you might be out of the county when we're talking about tomorrow?
It could be January 21st to September 1st.
That okay, no it couldn't. December. But our landlord sold the house that we're living in, so we're looking for a new place, and basically we need to move out we have until September 1st. So, and honestly, we're looking in Pinellas County anyways, but there's a possibility we may be in Hillsborough.
Because that's where her job
That's where my job is, but very slight possibility. And honestly, I think things would be fine and we would likely be here anyways, but he's trying to be cautious. So up to you guys.
Point of clarification. When it comes to these positions, again, you have
Yes, sir.
1 year and 2 year terms.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 1 year is the chair and the secretary.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and 2 years for the vice and chair.
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
cool. That's all I need to know.
Matt.
If you actually move out of the county, wants to be the chair, I would take over your spot.
It would technically be the vice chair automatically assuming, and then that position
Well,
would
no
come open.
special session in that case?
Nope.
But in the name of caution, I feel like this is a very short transition. Where it would make more sense that if y'all found a place, if you have an application period, we also have to work.
Right.
Better time to transition.
Yep.
And all that. So it makes more sense to elect you and roll the dice, knowing that you're doing that transition.
Right, and worst case, you're looking at serving
Remember,
3 out of the 4
you're
quarters
speaking
anyway.
to her motion, which was to poll the body about whether it was worthwhile. That was her motion.
Okay.
And you're appealing my ruling that it was out of order.
I'm still in the debate like that.
Right, but that's the motion you're
The
debating.
motion on the floor is
My
Brett's
ruling
ruling that Morgan's question
was out of order.
is it valid, is it worth it?
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Wait. Wait to be recognized.
It's really threw a wrench in this.
Mr. Colina.
so. To vote, I would say,
There's no further debate, then you can vote on appealing the ruling of the chair. A yes vote affirms that I was correct in saying that the motion was out of order. A no vote,
Let's appeal this thing.
and hang on, you have to have a 2/3 majority of the 15. There are now 15, so you need 10 votes. All right, so is there a motion to close debate?
I move to close debate.
So on the question of whether Ms. Dean's motion was out of order, those who wish to affirm the ruling of the chair that the motion was indeed out of order signify by saying aye. Those who are opposed to my ruling that Ms. Dean's motion was out of order, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's 2/3.
Overwhelming.
2/3.
Okay. So then we would need to reopen nominations.
I move to reopen nominations.
Ms. Dean, Mr. Kraft,
I nominate Brett Bittner for chair. We all are in favor of this.
well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. Are there any other nominations for chairperson? Is there a motion to close nominations?
I move to close nominations.
We can vote by acclamation. We don't have to worry about secret ballots. So is there anyone who opposes or chooses to vote for none of the above? Hearing none. Motion passes by acclamation.
Congratulations.
We'll now open nominations for vice chairperson.
I nominate Jasmine.
I second.
That was nominated by Ms. Dean, seconded by Ms. Kalina, or Mr. Kalina.
Miss
Sorry.
Selena.
Sorry.
The new haircut.
Sorry. Do you accept?
I accept, but I do have a caveat that I might not make the full 2 years because I also might move around.
Secretary.
No. You would have to hold a new,
Yeah.
yes, because it could be appointed by the leadership team. It could be done at a business meeting, but
But yeah, I might
there's
not-
no ascendant.
So,
Are there,
whatever you guys want to do.
so you did accept with the caveat, and the mover is okay with that?
Mhm.
The second is okay with that?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for vice chair?
The only thing that I'd like to bring up is that this gentleman over here said that, you know, if your situation, like if it changes
Yep.
or whatever, the next thing you know, like, and then what if her stuff changes?
Right.
Like, and then next thing you know, you have no, like, then you're like whoever's. Yeah,
So-
that's-
So
I mean,
to
that's
share what
beneficial.
would happen is if I am no longer eligible to be chair, i.e. we move out of the county, the